Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus once again. And this is a Sunday morning. I believe it's the 24th. I might be wrong, but I think this is the 24th of May. Sun is beginning to shine. It's been doing a lot of rain lately. As you can see, the sun is hiding behind the clouds as I'm getting a little bit more difficult to see. But what I want to talk to you today, ladies and gentlemen, about is the dumbest person I know. Might be the dumbest person in the world. Now, when I speak of dumb, I'm speaking, when we think of intelligence, no, that means you're smart, right? Or you know something. When you think of ignorance, that means you don't know. That means there's a lack of knowledge. Plain old lack of knowledge. I think we might agree on that. We got intelligence, got knowledge, ignorance, lack of knowledge, and dumb. Dumb is having intelligence and not knowing when to use it. Dumb is something that I want to talk about today. The dumbest person I know is me. There can be no other person as dumb as this guy you're looking at and listening to right now. I remember when I was a kid, I acted as a kid. I learned a lot of things. When I became a man, I started to make up my mind on a decision that I was going to act as a man. A kid? Nah. Man? Nah. I ain't waiting for that yet. But when I became a man, it's time to put the kid stuff down. And what I, becoming a man, learn is this. This is how I know I'm dumb. In my process, I ended up believing and accepting the fact that there was a God. I didn't know that for sure. But that's what they say. I went along with it. I had an experience once, though, as a child, as a kid, that eliminated that doubt. But as a kid, it didn't stop me from acting as a kid. When I became a man, the thing that brought me to this point to this awakening was, I didn't see things like I used to. Things began to change. Things began to matter. All of a sudden, it just wasn't about me. It was about those around me. And since I've always heard people say, it's about those, if it's not me, it's about those around me, and that usually excludes the others. And when you exclude the others, you find out that you end up responding to the others the way you responded to those around you when you only cared about yourself. And so you really might be learning, but how long does it take you to learn? Some people say you go to one school, first through 12th, then college, trying to learn. But I'm talking about life itself, my friends. It takes you a lifetime to learn life, but how long does it take an individual to learn who they are? A lifetime. So in this process of learning who I am, at this point I find out that I'm dumb. Not only knowing God now, I accepted the fact without doubt that like me, every individual on earth wanted to live. I accepted that. I didn't know they didn't. Like me. I accepted the fact that every individual on earth wanted their needs, their wants, and their desires met. I think everybody, I won't mind. I still believe it. Well, I still believe everybody wants theirs. That's why I'm so dumb. I believe that, like me, everybody on earth wants to live in peace. I really believe that. How dumb could I have been? Excuse me. Like me, I believe that every individual on earth wanted to be prosperous. You know what prosperity means. I was dumb enough to believe that everybody wanted that. I was dumb enough to believe that every individual on earth wanted freedom. Freedom. Can you imagine what freedom is? I mean, think of some of the weirdest things that doesn't cause any pain or suffering to anyone else that you could do and be comfortable with yourself and not worried about how anybody else felt about it. And they would be comfortable with it too because you're free. You are free to, let me think of something that people say is illegal. And I think the focus in this nation today is on smoking pot, marijuana. You know, it used to be alcohol. Well, people could sit up in their house and smoke weed. And if they wanted to walk down the street and smoke weed, just like they were doing cigarettes before they banned that stuff or tried to ban it. Freedom. But when somebody say, no, you can't do that. Now, I just chose marijuana. Now, you can change. You could have filled in any blank. You know what I'm talking about. Freedom. I thought everybody wanted to be free. Not bound by laws. Laws that just doesn't serve any purpose for you or the group. Let me see if I can help me think of one right now. Okay, let me give you a real simple one. I beat this one a lot. You're driving, you got traffic rules and regulations. And you're driving around late at night. You seem like you're the only person out there. You come up to a red light. Now, you know, you train animals. You train a dog. You train a cat. You train animals. But human beings are supposed to be able to think. Now, here I am, or you, sitting at a stop sign. Nobody's out, seemingly but you, and a red light got you stopped. Would intelligence say, sit there until that light change? Or it's okay to move. The traffic is acceptable. It's convenient for it. Now, you move, there's a camera up there, takes your tag, you go to court, they want to find you for running the red light. Now, what do? Do you shut up and go and pay the ticket, or do you say, no, I'm going to represent thinking, and I'm not going to pay this ticket, and I'll do whatever I have to do to prove that I'm convinced that everything I did was right. I'm ready to pay the price because I'm convinced that everything I did was right, and I'm not going to pay this fine to say I was wrong. Oh, I was free. Anyway, that's just a point to something that's very simple. Now, I still, my friends, believe that every individual on the face of the earth want, joy. There's nothing like joy. Somebody said one time that the world can't give it and the world can't take it away. Joy, my friends, the joy of life itself. I want joy in my life, and I believe every individual on the face of the earth want joy in their lives. And when we think about dreams coming true, of course, we live for our dreams. Every dream, your dream, my dream, their dream. Why can't they come true if they can? I mean, I was dumb enough to think that everybody wanted that. I really was dumb enough to think that everybody wanted that. Then I heard somebody say, well, you might not be the only one. There might be others. And I accept that fact. But I still am dumb enough to believe that everybody wants that. I'm dumb enough to believe that everything I just said. Now, with that, my friends, I'm dumb enough to believe that people know that in order to survive, I mean, we all go through everyday things. Some of it a high standard, low standard, but whatever, we go through the same things trying to survive. We need food, clothing, and shelter. Now, me, I have no doubt that every individual on earth requires that, and that there is a system set in motion that nobody on the face of the earth will ever be hungry. I'm dumb enough to believe that, and I was dumb enough to believe that you would too. I, my friends, is dumb enough to believe that folks know that sometimes what you know helps me do what I know. So education is always good. So I'm dumb enough to think that people would say, everybody needs education. So we educate one another. I was just dumb enough to think that there would be no problem in that. I was dumb enough to think that healthcare, when you're sick, I mean, if you got the knowledge, the skills, and everything there, hey, nobody's going to be getting sick and sickness getting away with it. Nobody. We're going to stop that. I was dumb enough to believe that everybody thought like that. I accepted this, whether people would or not. But as I became a man and started implementing what I've just shared with you as far as consciousness, I lost interest in trying to be what you call a successful man according to the standards that we have set here in America or on earth. Being rich and famous and looking good and cars and nice houses and stuff, and you sitting on Pill Hill and all the suffering and pain going on around you, and it had no impact on your life. No, when I became a man, that affected me. And so rather than pursue those kinds of dreams, I pursued the dreams of trying to be beneficial to others, that they might be a new measure of life themselves. And and just to show you how dumb I was, I was married. My wife appreciated me for what I was before, but this new dude, nah, man, you had no need for that guy, and so I ended up getting a divorce. But just to show you how dumb I was, I wanted this woman to know that everything I was doing had nothing to do with our relationship, that I really cared about her. You know how dumb I was? I was dumb enough to join the Navy right after the Iranian crisis, when they had the hostages, and I volunteered for the Persian Gulf service. So if there was a war, I could be killed. For what reason? So she could get a paycheck. I don't know, it didn't mean anything to me. Take the paycheck. The other things were more important. But for her, I didn't want her walking away thinking there was anything other than that. But I didn't get killed. Every time death faced me, I always walk away by the blessings of a reason for being here on this earth. Well, ladies and gentlemen, since that time, knowing what I do, and I still didn't, my intelligence still didn't stop me from being dumb. I said, let me run for president of the United States and use that as a bullet pulpit to teach the people of America and to teach the people of the world that we can live as though we are in heaven. I was dumb enough to think that I got to get some support from somebody. I was dumb enough to think that I might get the support from the church or somebody. People go to church all the time talking about this stuff. So I was dumb enough to believe that some of it was real. I ran for president 3 times. I ran against Bill Clinton, was it twice? I ran against Jesse Jackson was in one of those things. I ran against Barack Obama and G.W. Bush. And each time the situation was still the same. The only thing I got was a write-in Nobody was interested in any of these things that I just got through sharing with you. So that is telling you, ladies and gentlemen, from point one to point two, if I continue to try this stuff, I got to be dumb if I already got the evidence that it's not working. Somebody say he's insane, crazy. But I call the people who I thought was smart, I call America crazy. Excuse me for telling you that, ladies and gentlemen. But I call the world crazy. All this crap going on. And you following the ideas of men that walk this path every day. You know, look at your president of the United States. He says, I want everybody to make churches open. And if the governors go along with it, I'm for it. And you know what? You cannot imagine the number of people that think that was a divine act and that they can get a chance to go back to church and praise God because Donald Trump was sitting there representing God at that point in time. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to go back to that church. They're going to come back out of that church. You know what? It's not going to have one iota inch of affection on how they are going to deal with pain and suffering of the people of this nation and of the world. It's not going to have one iota of effect. In fact, while they were out of church in this pandemic, they've done more to help other people than you see what I'm saying? But anyway, I was dumb enough to think that when I didn't become president, maybe I was trying to step too big. So I ran to be governor of the state of Minnesota. Let me start there. So I ran for governor, and it was the same thing. Had to run as a write-in. People weren't interested in all of those things that I was so dumb thinking that you cared about. Showed me you didn't care. And so, well, I couldn't become the governor. So I did run also a couple of times for United States Senator from the state of Minnesota. It was the same outcome, but I could never stop. I could never stop. I am so convinced that you're going to change your mind. That once during those little breaks when I wasn't running for office, I was doing some work for Rothschilds. And I took an act. I was preaching on the streets and you're doing continuously what I'm doing here today. And you still acting the way you act, like, nigga crazy. Want me to believe that? So what I did, I took $20,000 from my association with that group. I did whatever I wanted to with it. And what I do, I went to management and told them, I got this money, I did what I wanted with it, and I'm ready to be arrested. They asked me, say, well, why we want to go that route? Is there anything else we can do? I said, no, I want to be arrested. No. So we said, okay, well, let's go down to the police station. Well, went to the police station, reported the situation. It was on a Friday evening. The police said, well, look, why don't you come back Monday? Why don't you come back and report it Monday? So we said, okay. So we went on back home. I went back Monday and reported it. Now, why did I do that? Because I'm trying to tell you, the people, that this is real. I'm not lying to you. I'm not Donald Trump. I know you don't believe what I'm saying. I know you don't believe it. You haven't seen what I've seen. You just don't know. But some way, I know what you're hoping. I know your dreams. I know your aspirations. You've told me. And so I want you to come to court. You say, he did what? He did what? Then he's trying to draw you into court. Come into court and listen to this joke. See how he going to justify this? How is he going to justify taking $20,000 from an association? They wouldn't even print it in the newspaper that I had violated. I'm looking at the newspaper. I'm trying to contact newspapers, telling them hey, this is what's going on. Cover it. Well, I had a couple of reporters say, yeah, we're going to cover it. Then I found out that the paper, they wouldn't even allow that to happen. So I ended up not having, but I got it written in the records. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're curious about anything that I'm saying to you about that, You could check the court documents. It will verify what I'm telling you about at least the court part of it. Well, you got a couple of judges that told me to shut up. Don't be talking about the stuff I'm talking about. Well, they didn't give a stink about that. They were dealing with the law, and I wasn't thinking about the law. The law had nothing to do with that except it was in violation to righteousness. Anyway, I even ran for mayor of St. Paul, Minnesota, Woodbury. Still thinking that there might be some hope, that you wouldn't give up. And now, the most sickening thing that really broke my heart, ladies and gentlemen, and something broke my heart, is that everything that I told you so far, every office that I ran for, these are the platforms. This is the only stuff that I was interested in. That you have your dreams come true, and that you can live on this earth as if it's heaven. And your only superpower on this earth is you. You the man. You the mama. You the dad. You the king. You the queen. But your source of power came through humanity. And humanity represented all of you doing this, expressing the same things that I've just shared with you. Your authority came from the invisible power that we couldn't see, which was God. It wasn't some president, some emperor, some king, some pharaoh. No, baby. No, those slave masters. So I said, okay. I kept on trying to do it, kept on. And when, out of all of that, when there was one thing I want to add to you. You have been taught that if you black, get back. And if you broke, man, you choke. Get out of the way. So all of the things that I had that I was so dumb about, on top of that, I was broke and black. All of a sudden, somebody who didn't care about any of that, but came on the scene talking about the opposite of what I was talking about. Division, lies, and cheating, and stealing, real stealing, a lifetime of it. Breaking more laws than I ever thought of breaking. Challenging the system. And said he was rich. And he was white. But he talked about a lot of hate. He talked about splitting people up. And you know what? Even the church ran to him and said he was God sent. White church did, evangelicals and fundamentalists. And there are a lot of black people also. But most black people that go that way, my thought about it is that they're just playing a game, whatever, they might get some out of it. Same story. And so, ladies and gentlemen, when I saw that you American people accepted everything that is the opposite that God is about, except a lost soul that needs to be saved, and you want to put him on the throne, make him president of the United States, your voice to the world. And as a consequence, the world don't know, when that man standing open his mouth, they don't know what to think. Is he telling the truth? Is he a liar? So since he lies so much, they just presume that everything come out of his mouth is a lie. And if the truth is not backed up by some other evidence, everything comes out of his mouth is considered a lie to the world. And to follow behind that, America, who held itself up as being so this or that, the whitish is gone, man. And now we're falling behind so many other. But it doesn't matter. All of the world, my friends, is living in this darkness. But I felt really wonderful to believe that here in America, where we had churches open, we talk about other places you can't have churches. But here in America, we had it all. Excuse me. We had it all. We could do this and do that. Well, even black people, when they were slaves, a lot of them didn't even know they were slaves. We didn't. When I was a young man, young boy growing up, I was still a slave. Didn't know it. They weren't teaching us in elementary school and stuff while we were slaves. We were running around bragging, watching Westerns, thinking that killing the Indians gave us a place to live. And that was a righteous thing to do. We didn't know any darn better. No, who told us? Who taught us better? Now, let me ask you something. Say this, and I'm going to leave. This is what I have observed. White people, for some strange reason in America, have been the perpetrators of more pain and violence than anybody else. And they're going to be the last one to give it up. Why? There are many reasons why. One, they think it works. And for those talking about giving it up, they think somebody's going to bring it back to them. And so you got those reasons connected together. They will be the least people ready to give up the way the world runs. And the people who should be the most willing to stand up and say no more are those who suffer the most. They are the ones who should be most willing to stand up and say no more. And those in the middle got a decision to make, which way you want to stand. And based upon the way you walk, the poor and those who aren't, that's how the middle will decide. No, that's my intelligence. But you know me. I'm the dumbest man I know. So I just wanted to share with you how dumb I am and how my dumbness was proven by you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a glorious day, and I want to give God glory for all my sons and my daughters and my wives and ex-girlfriends and mothers and fathers and in-laws and neighbors. I just want to thank God for the whole dead blasted world. I hope, that's my hope, that some of these things I do won't be in vain. Until next time, goodbye.